Hello and happy Whitney Day to everybody. Saturday morning. It's Josh here with On the Wrong Lead. Hope everyone's having a good morning here. I know Mark, our boy Mark, is having a bit of a rough morning. Took him a while to find some parking. I don't know. It was about like 2 minutes before we started and nobody was on, so I went and got myself a little champagne. And gonna have a little mimosa here while because that's basically the only way to start a Saturday morning. Caleb, I know you're not a huge fan of wine. I mean, you drink it, but I mean, I think that's basically everybody's everybody's kind of. I think everyone at least will drink wine. It doesn't necessarily be their favorite, but what are your feelings toward the Saturday morning mimosa? And you're muted.
Thank you. Yeah, in the great debate of mimosa versus Bloody Mary, I am like full team Bloody Mary. Not a huge mimosa fan. I'm not a big champagne person, but I love a good Bloody Mary. It's got to be spicy though. So if I'm gonna have a breakfast drink, a nice spicy Bloody Mary with some good garnishes in it, like that's the way to start my morning.
I am not a fan of Bloody Marys like whatsoever. I don't know what it is. There's something about the tomato juice. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me. I don't like micheladas either.
It's funny though, because like if you give me a Bloody Mary and it's not spicy, like I probably won't drink it. It has to be spicy, but like that makes it so good.
Yeah, as I'm so my wife freshly juiced orange juice this morning, and I'm gonna give you guys a pro tip here. If you ever have a mimosa and you try to use freshly squeezed juice, it is not a great idea. I don't know what it is about it, but there's like an interaction between the two that just causes a volcano. And so the reason part of the reason we're running a couple minutes late is because said volcano erupted all over my kitchen table when I was making this mimosa. So, Mark, you seem like a man who's probably drank more mimosas than anybody here in the in the stream. What are your feelings towards mimosas?
I pretty much like anything with alcohol in it. So mimosas, Bloody Marys, all good. I do agree with Caleb that the spicy Bloody Mary is the only way to go with a Bloody Mary. I have a lady on track that actually brings in her own horseradish that she makes herself that works in one of the kiosks. So she makes a killer Bloody Mary. So that is my local on track purveyor of bloodies. But not wrong with a good mimosa either. But I mean, the thing about the mimosa is it's always got to be cheap, champagne, because there's no point, spending there. But you got to have the right, orange juice.
Yeah, for sure. I was like, what the heck? All of a sudden I started getting double view, Mark, but I think that was my end. Yeah, I think, we've been doing the fresh juice since my wife got her lovely juicer. So that's been fun. Do all kinds of stuff: pineapple, orange juice, blueberries, whatever she can put in there, she does. So, looks like it looks like we got a viewer on Twitch here, Nike Foros. What's up? And yeah, so we're gonna be talking through some of this Saratoga card. Mark, you're on track. What's the weather looking like up there? What are we looking like today?
Yeah, it's going to be sunny all day. It's in the mid 80s right now. Going to be close to 90 for a high. Light breeze. It is less humid than it was yesterday. Yesterday was just absolutely abysmal. It was like 100% humidity all day. Today's a little better humidity wise. A little more breeze. Very nice if you're in the shade. A little hot if you're in the sun. So but another gorgeous Saratoga summer day. There's, I think, a very, very, very slight chance of thunderstorms, but nothing. I mean, it's just all blue sky right now.
Great. It looks like we're going to get thunderstorms now because you just kind of jinxed it. But, yeah, it's, I know earlier in the week we were kind of concerned about the weather, but looking at all the MTOs have scratched out. We started a little bit earlier today because we got an early first post of 12:30 Eastern. So for the 12 race cards, they go a half hour early.
Yeah, normally on the big days they go a half early, and then on Travers Day they've been starting at an hour early. So I think at first post is 11:30 or something, 11:30, 11:45, something like that.
Gotcha. So we did cover the late, obviously, on our Thursday stream. We'll revisit some of that, in the coming time here. But I figured we'd take a look at this early. Caleb, any thoughts on the early so far? Did you get a chance to kind of cap everything? And
I did. Yeah, I got the whole card done. The early I thought was a tough sequence. It's not really a place where I'm going to put a ton of my money. I felt that the first two races in particular, I struggled to come up with opinions. I think the first race is probably a race where a lot of people might struggle to come up with opinions, just because it's a lot of first time starters and there's some trainers in here. I mean, you have the Shug McGahee horse is the morning line favorite with Kendrick Carnouche. That's a horse that connections. Kendrick not been riding very well, 3 for 51 so far. Shug is not necessarily known for winning first time out. The works on this horse are coming in pretty strong. So it's one of those times where you kind of get mixed signals on a horse. I think you can make the same argument for like the 5. It's a gun runner baby. They've been winning first out a lot, but they don't really win very much on turf so far. Asmussen not really known for his debut turf runners. So there's a lot of mixed signals here. You have the European horse, Alexis Zorba, who took all the money last time out in that Saratoga Sprint and really didn't do any running. You may think that this horse is better going longer, but honestly, the pedigree is more sprint oriented, even by the European influence, and ran 2 good sprints overseas. And maybe this horse just isn't accustomed to U.S. racing. I don't know. I guess all I'm saying is that the first 2 races gave me some trouble. So I did put a pick 5 in, but it was a pretty cheap ticket because I don't have much confidence in the sequence.
Yeah, I do agree with Caleb in this being a hard sequence. I didn't actually think the earlier part was hard. I thought the last 2 legs for me were the hardest 2 legs. I will be personally pretty aggressive around this 5 in the first leg, Red Route 1. Joe Rosario has been winning at a 56% clip for Asmussen so far this meet. Asmussen's hitting at almost 30%. I realize you don't tend to think of Asmussen or gun runners with turf horses. But the works were really there on this one, and and the workout reports absolutely love this horse. So I think it's probably going to go off, favorite, second choice, right around there, and that will be my lone A on my tickets. I agree with Caleb. I thought, we didn't quite know what to do with Joseph O'Brien when he brought Stable up here. I haven't been impressed with any of his runners. I'll defensively, I guess, use the 2, so Josh can get his little banner in there. Horse will be a defensive B.
Wait, hold on.
I'm not super high on Alexis Zorba. I thought some other horses, the 4 Mulligar, the Bill Ma horse, second time grabbing Jose Ortiz, probably getting on the right surface as well. I thought that horse made a lot of sense, but that's been chopped in half off the morning line. And I also thought, Sayas Up for Rudy was pretty interesting in here as well. Sayas tends to get the top Shug horses. And I found it kind of interesting that he lands on this Rudy horse. Obviously, Rudy's over 37 on the meet, but Sayas Up for Rudy is a pretty high percentage connection. I don't necessarily know if this is the turfiest pedigree I've ever seen. It's actually probably not really a turfy pedigree, but I thought Moonflyer in here at a bit of a price. What is Moonflyer? Yeah, Moonflyer's taking a little bit of money down to 9-1 right now as well. Made some sense as some price horses that I want to have money going through. Although I'll be most heavily through the 5 here.
I did not have the 5 anywhere on my radar, and I'm pretty sure I checked the workout reports. I think I even have them up. I don't know. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I missed. Maybe I skipped over the 5. But my issue with this race is I don't know what I do with the 7. I don't know if the 7. Aragona made this horse 2-1 in the morning line. I don't know if he just assumed that because of City of Light, freshman sire, these horses tend to get bet real quickly when they're first coming up. Kitten's Joy on the bottom, so definitely the turf pedigree there. Obviously, we don't know what City of Light's going to do on the turf here, and the Dam. The Dam has only had one other starter, has not put out a turf winner, but looks like the Dam has must have some productive runner as her other starter because the DPI index is pretty high. So yeah, I don't know what to do with the 7. If the seven's floating up a little bit, so maybe I mean it's 9-2 currently. Maybe I end up using it. I was most interested in this 4, Mullingar for Bill Mott. Second time out, you assume that there's going to be some improvement here, and this looks like a turf horse. They started on dirt first time out, but you got More Than Ready on top with a Smart Strike on the bottom, so you would expect that this horse is going to love the turf. The dam has produced 4 turf winners, so I'm kind of playing on that, playing on second time out for Bill Mott. You get Jose Ortiz aboard, so the 4 is going to be where most of my money is going to go through. I don't know what to do with the 2. Once again, I think people are going to expect this 2 to take a bunch of money. Didn't really run all that great first time out here at Saratoga. Ran second twice, going 5.5 or going 5 overseas. But yeah, I mean, this. I don't know. I mean, we assume that this is turf pedigree. I know that Briz doesn't exactly have a lot of stats on this sire, so who knows what you got here. But I didn't want to take a short price on either the 2 or the 7 here in this first race, but I was a little interested in them. The 2 looks to be 9-5, and just I don't get to that horse at 9-5. I'd much rather take the 4 at 3-1 currently, or the 7 at 9-2. So I think most of my money's going to go through those 2 horses here in this first leg. But yeah, I'll probably be dead because I think everybody and their mother's on this 5. So
yeah,
I didn't see the ass man. I didn't see the ass man work pattern.
See that 2-back gate work came back really, really strong. I realized it was over dirt, and then the one after that was over training track. So I mean, obviously, we don't know if this horse really handles turf, and you'll see this a lot with first-time starters at Saratoga. They won't have a work over turf. The reason is they can't. Up here on the training track, until you have a start, you cannot have a work over turf. So just to preserve the turf horses that they have a ton of around here. But no, I think the
who had a work over turf last out as a first-time starter.
Maybe it's just on the main then, Caleb. You might be right. I know there was a rule about limiting turf starts or limiting turf training attempts across the turf to those that only had a start. So
I think the rule is that if you don't have a start, you have to run around the dogs.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
I think that's what the rule is, because if you look at the 7, it's got the D connotation there, markings, which means it ran around dogs, not the actual rail. So I think that's what the rule is, because they mentioned something on the Fox show yesterday about one of the horses, like that one of the horses was actually able to train on the track because he had a stakes win or something, and the other horses couldn't or something. I don't remember, but it's something to do with that. Yeah. We need John Massey or Road Warrior in here to tell us what's going on. But I mean, Mark basically talked about every single horse in this field, so I don't know if there's anything else that we really need to cover here. Caleb, real quick, Caleb, again, who's your top pick in this race, or what horse are you using?
Top pick is the 5, kind of along with Mark. I'm going to lean on the gun runner, very precocious first time out, even if the turf pedigree maybe isn't there. But I'm using the 4, the 5, and I ended up initially I had the 2, 4, and 5. Kind of looking at the prices, I'm sort of with you, Josh. I don't really like the 2 at 9-5, and I think the 7 at 9-2 is usable. So I'll probably end up using the 7 instead of the 2. So probably 4, 5, and 7.
I'm 4-7. Mark is 5 with all. It sounded like defensively. So, but yeah, let's keep moving here. Race 2, 7 furlongs, maiden claimer, 30,000. We got a nice field here again, or full field. Not necessarily nice horses, but who knows? Maximum Security was a maiden claimer at one time, but 8 horse field here. Your morning line favorite is going to be the 6. Oh, is that Capone?
Yeah, that's the one and only Capone behind me here.
I'm like, dude, he's like 40 feet from you, and you can hear him.
Yeah, his voice does clearly carry. Yeah, he's not a quiet human being. So
The 6 of Philda is going to be your morning line favorites at 5-2 here. Mark, I'll let you talk about every single horse in this race. Where did you land here?
I'm predominantly for the 4. I'm going to be a single A to this 4. For Bill Mott. This is a horse that I don't know. Bill Mott dropping horses out of maiden special weight to maiden claim is a 35% angle. He's really good on the long layoffs as well. First time in his barn, I realized I came out of the Brad Cox barn, which was always a sort of a scary proposition. Obviously Bill is looking to get rid of this one, but I thought this was a course that a lot of the other horses that are in this field have run at this level or considerably cheaper, and it's just a situation where give me the dropper with some connections that I like, with a couple angles that I like. I'll take that over a bunch of horses. I kind of think, if after they have 10 or 12 starts, you kind of understand if there's any quality there or not. And I just think this field really sucks, and all I really need is a 4.
I mean, I landed on the 4 as my lone A as well.
Hey, Cap, who do you like race 2? The phone.
He's busy.
He's ignoring me.
He is ignoring you. I landed on the 4 as my lone A. I am also going to use the 8 Tequila here. I know this is just like 0 for 10 maiden. I mean, there's no way Caleb's going to be using this horse. But I'm pretty sure at 7 furlongs, outside speed is pretty good. So there's not. I mean, these are maiden claimers, so who knows what these horses are going to eventually do, if anything. But this horse has showed some speed last time out. So I'm going to see if going 7 furlongs, we get a little bit of a bias play here to help carry this 8 home. But I'm going to be using just the 4 and the 8 in this spot. Caleb?
Yeah, this is the race I had the least opinion on. And I guess I'm a little surprised to see how confidently y'all are handling this race, because I just had no idea. In my pick 5, I used every horse except for the 2 and the 3, who I don't think can possibly win. So one of those 2 probably win at 3-1 and blow me up. But I don't know who wins this race. I mean, I had a hard time getting a grip on the pace. I mean, it looked like maybe the 8 or perhaps the 3 or maybe even the 7 try to go. Horses like the 5 and 6 have had a lot of chances, and I don't really feel great about them. I guess if I had to pick a top selection, it would be the 4, just on the clash drop, and kind of the only horse in here who hasn't proven to me that he sucks, or she sucks rather. But I can't get aggressive to that horse because she really didn't show anything in her debut either. So for me, the 4 would be my top pick here, but big layoff, tries dirt for the first time, new barn. Bill Mott's not exactly firing on all cylinders here. I have way too many questions for me to get aggressive to any horse here, so I'm going to spread and hope that I can take the price.
Anything else you want to add here, Mark?
No. I mean, I don't hate Caleb's strategy. It's one of those races, though, if you don't get really aggressive here, I feel like you're buying the race. Like, it's just, you either pick 1 or 2 that you think are the most likely winners, or you end up kind of including all of them. And, so I thought I would take that, take the more aggressive angle here.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, I kind of took what you said, Caleb, about the 4 is like it's the one horse that we don't know, right? Like, race on the poly last time out, switching barns, just doing a lot of stuff is changing, and it only has 1 start. So, by violence or out of violence, or by violence, and violence has shown a propensity to win early. So I saw a lot of positives for the 4, and I didn't see a whole lot of positives for any of the other horses, but the 8, who's got, I think, the speed for this race. So that's kind of why I landed on it. But you're right. I mean, probably anybody can win, right? At that level, with just not seeing a lot of those horses. It's going to be it's a tough one. I'm going to go narrow where I think other people are going to go wide. So, Matthew Bickey in the house. He's got the 5, the 3, the 1, and the 8. So, so he likes the 5, mostly harmless. The 3, Madam Rose. So that's one of the horses that can boom you, Caleb, as Bickey's second pick there.
It's true.
And then the 1 and the 8, yeah. So I think he kind of saw it the same way you did. I think that basically anybody can win here, except he is using the 3 unlike you.
I
So
think the horses that he picked are a combined 0 for 70. So
oh, good.
I guess if some of those beat me, I guess you just live with it.
Yeah. All right, race 3 here. 6 furlongs, optional claiming for Philly state bred fillies, N2X, and this is probably I did take 2 horses in this spot. The 2 Khalil Magic is coming in as your 9-5 favorite. Does have the works, I believe coming in with a B+ work here, and is 9-5 on the line. Prime power over 7 or 6-7 better than the next closest, which is usually a really good indication that the horse is going to take a ton of money. Not necessarily that they're going to win, but they are going to take a ton of money. Then you kind of got after that, you kind of got a pretty flat field: 4-1, 4-1, 5-1, 6-1. Happy Sophia's 20-1, but everyone else in there kind of flat there. I did kind of land. I landed on the favorite. I like the favorite. I just think the works coming into it look really good, and that last race is better than I think anybody else has run by quite a bit. So it was kind of tough not to use the 2. I have it marked down as an A, and I think it's mostly just because of price. 5-1 thing, I'm going to get a little bit longer of a price, but Beautiful Karen on the outside again with the speed. Irad getting aboard, hasn't ridden this horse in a while, but last time he did ride this horse, actually last 2 times he's ridden this horse, has produced some of the horse's better efforts. So I'm going to take the outside speed here, Beautiful Karen, and I'm also going to use the favorite here, Khalil Magic, or Kali Magic, sorry, just based off the work patterns and just that last effort. What about you, Caleb?
Yeah, I'm singling Kali Magic here. This is, I think, one of the most likely winners in the early sequence. July 15th day at Saratoga, every dirt race was won wire to wire except for the race that Kali Magic won. So that was a day where I think he bucked some of the bias trends of that day by being one of the literally the only horse to make up ground and come off the pace to win. And the speed horse ran second that day, Mosienko, who's back in here number 7. So I thought that was a much better race than it looked. I think he's going to get a great pace setup once again. I think Quality Stones is your most likely leader, but you also have Miss Alacrity as well as your cheap speed, Beautiful Karen onto the outside, assuming Irad doesn't rate. But I think, regardless of what happens, it feels like there's a lot of speed in here. Kali Magic seems like the closer that you want in this race, and I think that if he comes back with anything close to his last race, he's going to be tough to beat in here. She's going to be tough to beat in here. Excuse me.
Mark?
Yeah. I don't hate Killer Magic here at all. It will be one of my A's, and the other sort of A horse that I have. By the way, I turned around, so hopefully my sound quality is a little bit better here. The other A horse I had, I was a little bit interested in, was the Miss Alacrity. This is one that broke her maiden over, over the dirt. They didn't throw her on turf. She won 2 turf races, and they kind of seemed to, for the most part, keep her on turf. I realized that Key Sense on Aqueduct, the 6 furlong race, was pretty bad. But I'll give this one another shot. If there's still maybe some upside, on dirt. Wes Ward does tend to go to Johnny B when, with a lot of his horses and a lot of his really live ones. So I thought Miss Alacrity in here 4-1 made quite a bit of sense. Along with Kali Magic would be one of my 2 A's in this race.
I think we got that. I don't know what it is, Mark, but it's not the background noise. It's just like popping like constantly. I don't know what's going on. It's kind of weird. Matthew Bickey, he's got the 8, the 1, the 6, and the 3. So he's basically fading this this short price 2. He's taking the outside speed along with me. He likes Happy Sophia.
I did give a look to his 1 horse here, who I think is going to be a huge price. I don't know that the horse is a very likely win candidate, but I gave the horse a long look to clunk up and hit the board. especially if the pace plays out the way I think it might. I think this horse could come running late. So that may be a horse I look to put in, third or something of a trifecta somewhere.
Yeah, as Mark figures out his situation there. Let's just move on. Let's move on to race 4. We're going to be going a mile on the inner turf here. Caleb, how funny that on Thursday night we just talk about how closers on the inner turf, and what the two inner turf races get wired yesterday.
Yeah, it was a complete reversal of everything we've seen throughout the meet, which is just insanity. But yeah, I mean, it was just speed was excellent on the inner turf yesterday, which has not been the way these races have been run for the first 3 or 4 weeks of the meet. So yeah, it makes it tricky. Was it just because they did get they've been getting off and on showers pretty much all week? I mean, could it just be the moisture in the turf changing the way it's playing? It's tough to say, but I'm kind of approaching today with the mindset of it's playing more fair than anything else.
I'm just laughing because Mark's fiddling, and of course, just nothing has gone right since we've gotten him to come on site. But we'll get it figured out by the end of the meet. I have hopes. But yeah, and actually Matthew, he's still talking about race 3, but he brings up a good point. He says 7 horses qualify the way he looks at it, and so those races he always goes deep. I mean, that's probably the right play if we think that's and I'm talking mostly from a game theory perspective, right? Like if there looks to be like a real stone cold single and you're able to find a way around it, I mean, more power to you. And like if 7 horses look the same and one of them's a favorite, then I think that's the time you kind of toss the favorite. I think it's similar to how Caleb and I were looking at that first race. Like, yeah, we both like the 2, but if that 2 is going to be 9-5, we don't like the 2 at that price. And so I think just like mostly anything, I think we even mentioned it on Thursday, there's a right price for every horse. And 9-5 is not the price on that 2 horse in that first race. But yeah, race 4, the inner turf just completely fucked me yesterday because I was playing towards the bias that no longer existed. But you got a nice field here of 8. Is it 8 or 7? No, it's 8. Because the 1A I think is drawn in. And the 2, Good Governance at 6-5. The entry is at 2-1. And then you got longer on everybody else. Caleb, where did you land here?
Yeah, so as we talked through this, I was pretty deep in the first 2 legs. This is the second single that I have. And I singled the coupled entry here, the 1. And I always kind of like when I get a race like this because I like both halves of the entry a lot. And sometimes you get a coupled entry where it's like, I really like this horse, but I hate the other half, and it kills your price and whatever else. But I like both halves of this coupled entry. I think the 1 eyes on target is most likely going to be your leader in here. I mean, the only horse I see that really has any speed is probably potentially the 7 or the 8. But I think the 1, probably breaking from a more inside post, I think ends up getting the lead here. This horse has improved in all 3 starts since the layoff in his 4-year-old season. Set some very honest paces back on May 28th at Churchill when dueling the entire way and winning essentially wire to wire. We know how hard that was to do at Churchill, was to win on the lead on the turf. So I thought that was a big race there. And then ran an excellent second last time out at Belmont before getting mowed down by Big Everest, who looks like a really nice turf horse. 3rd place winner, Cold Hard Cash, came back to win. So I'm a big fan of this 1, eyes on target. Gaffleone has not had the strongest meet, but we know he is a competent jock, so you have to think that's due to turn around eventually. And I would feel good enough just taking that horse if that was my only option. But the fact that I also get a Chad Brown European import in the 1A Dreamsworks, who has Timeform US Figs and Thorograph from 2021 that absolutely fit with this race. So any improvement off the first time gelding, the barn switch, and addition of Lasix, I have to think this horse is going to be a handful. Hasn't been seen in a while, but with Chad Brown, I tend to not worry about that as much as I would with other trainers. So I love both halves of the entry. This is another horse that I'm going to get pretty aggressive to. I'm taking a stand against the two Good Governance. I think the coupled entry probably goes off as your favorite. Good Governance to me is just a horse that clearly has issues, essentially runs 2 races a year and then disappears for a year at a time. Is 6 years old now with 6 career starts, has never run 3 races in a single calendar year. And just doesn't really seem to be, any horse that I want to go and take at a short price. So Good Governance is a horse that I'll let beat me.
Yeah, I flipped over to the tablet, so hopefully the sound quality is a little better, a little less poppy.
Oh, way better.
It's good.
Yeah, okay, cool. My cell phone was overheating, believe it or not. So I took it off. You could barely almost touch the back. It was crazy hot. So in this race, actually, my top pick is going to kind of be a weird horse. You have this dual Mike Maker entry in here, and I actually really like the other Maker, the 3, Ocean Atlantique. If you've watched Mike Maker at Saratoga so far this meet, when he has a live horse, he goes to Luis Saez. And Saez ends up on this one versus the other Maker that has Gaffo. This horse, hasn't run a figure yet that says that that says that he can win. But he does those last 3, has a nice bit of an improving pattern. Going from Santana to Saez is about as big of an upgrade as you can possibly get on the turf. And honestly, right now, Mike Maker's barn so far this meet has been really firing. So 15-1, given all the intrinsics, given the fact that I know, I lost a little audio there for a bit. I'm assuming that Caleb, picked apart a couple of other short prices in here, probably the Chads, and I would 100% agree with him on why he picked them apart. I thought Ocean Atlantique was really interesting here for the first time gelding that I think probably still has some upside.
I kind of feel like you, Caleb, but this is one of the times where I really wish we didn't have coupled entries, because I would have loved to gotten 4-1 on this one. I think the fact that it's coupled with a Chad actually hurts the value on this one.
Absolutely.
So I had A with a question mark when I kind of, which kind of the reason I kind of had the question mark on it is I thought it was kind of price dependent. But I think I got to use this entry in a horizontal sequence. I don't know if the value is going to be there, so maybe I got to press it. But I do like the 1. I really was not interested really in the 1A, but unfortunately I get it as well for less a price. I kind of like the 8 here, the George Weaver horse. You get Jose Ortiz aboard. This horse has shown speed at 7 furlongs, and Jose has ridden this horse pretty aggressively and has sat off as well. So I think on the cutback, I really like the 8 to show a little bit of speed from the outside. And I think the horse is versatile enough that if he doesn't get the lead, if the 1 just goes out there on the front end and he sits just off, I don't think that's really going to hurt the 8 too much. So I'm going to use the 8. 8 was probably my top pick in this race because of the coupled entry. But I don't know, man. I kept on looking at this 7 Casanova Kitten stretching out, and I mean the horse has run some okay races, going a mile and 16th, most notably at Churchill. And I mean, I know that was last year, but came back this year, has run some sprints. Had the greatest jockey in the history of the American colony, Gerardo Corrales, aboard, and then got Jose Ortiz last time out at 6 furlongs, and I don't know, didn't really do all that much running, but I don't know. I'm interested in this horse on the stretch out. Kitten's Joy, not necessarily known for producing a ton of turf sprinters, but I think that this horse is probably going to be better stretching out. I mean, Manny Franco's a jockey. Nothing can go too wrong. I like the price too. I think this horse is going to get lost on the board. And I know Caleb would probably say something like, I'm not going to talk you off a 15-1 shot, which means my horse has got no shot. But I don't know. I just thought the horse stretching out, what was a little interesting. The horse has run some decent races at 1 mile or routing. I don't know. I don't think they necessarily match up with the best the other horses have, but I don't know. I thought it was kind of a wild card in this spot. So I was pretty interested in the 7 at a price as well.
I liked your 7, Josh. I mean, I'm pretty aggressive to the 1, which is kind of the reason I didn't talk about anybody else. But if I was going to use, like that would be like A without 0. I wouldn't have any B's. That 7 would be like a C if on my ticket. Because I think this horse, if you look at the comments, this horse can't get out of the gate. And that's what makes me nervous. I mean, hit gate, awkward off slow, very awkward start, broke through gate, staggered start, hop start, traffic stretch. Like this horse just stumbles out of the gate, in 5 out of his last 8 starts. If he gets out of the gate, I think this horse could be dangerous, but I don't know that I trust Manny to get this horse away cleanly. But I do like your 7, and I also kind of like Mark 3 a little bit. Those would be horses I might throw on like a saber ticket or a smaller ticket. But I'm pretty, much going to be aggressive to the 1, and maybe use some of those horses you guys talked about underneath.
Sorry about that. National anthem time. Did anybody talk about the 4 in here, Founder, at all?
No.
Okay, I was just saying, that's another horse that I was somewhat intrigued by. I realized claiming off Chad Brown is never, a great angle, but this is climb off Chad Brown with a long lay off, coming back in this spot. I realize this isn't the turfiest pedigree ever, but Bill Mott sees fit to go get Joel Rosario, who's, he'd been on this horse once, but on the dirt at Keeneland. I thought this one was a little bit interesting, just in the fact that I realize Mott's Barn's doing fine. It isn't lights out like it is some years, but just an interesting spot to bring this horse back. And again, I thought the 4 Founder was also a little bit interesting here.
All right, let's close out this early pick 5 here. Race 5, the Lure. We already talked about this race a little bit on Thursday, so we'll get a chance here to revisit. Mile and 16th on the turf. No, wait, did we have a scratch in here? No, we didn't, right? Surprisingly, no scratches. I just assumed. I know you always get a couple scratches, but this is a very, very scratch light day at Saratoga, so maybe everyone's just saving up for Whitney Day or what have you. But public sector is 2-1 on the morning line. Some like a Hot Brown at 5-2, and then you got a bunch of others here. Mark, what did you see here?
Yeah, I mean, I had a really hard time with this. We talked about this race in the stream, obviously. I will be, in some degree, way, shape, or form, have almost every horse in this race covered, which is, my normal, because, I love to buy me some races. Sure, public sector and something like a Hot Brown both make a lot of sense, but I think at this point in both of their careers, they've both been exposed. Public sector just doesn't like to win and hasn't been basically forever. And something like a Hot Brown has been, I think there was a point in time where we thought that was the best turf horse running in the country, and I think we've all sort of learned our lesson. So, I will have both of those 2 on my ticket. I'm not going to do a hard fade. I'm not as good at this as somebody like Caleb is. But I thought that those 2 were pretty interesting entries. I probably should be showing horses going to the path. Somebody else talk.
Yeah, I didn't have the race totally handicapped. We covered it on Thursday. Today I spent more time with it, and my overall opinions didn't really change. I did take a stance against both the short prices here. I'm not using public sector or some like a Hot Brown at all. And, I guess the way I look at it is if I really think the race is wide open, where about 5 horses are equally likely to win, I don't really want to take the 2 that are going to be the shortest price. And that's how I kind of view the race. Public sector has figures that fit, but he kind of always has figures that fit and just doesn't really win much, especially lately. I kind of wonder if he was just a precocious, 3-year-old that hasn't really stepped forward much into his 4-year-old season. Something like a Hot Brown, this horse maybe is the opposite story, where perhaps lost half a step as he's now a 6-year-old horse. He does love Saratoga, but I don't. After yesterday, when I saw Irad Ortiz rate the 1 horse, Chanso, whatever his name was.
Oh, yeah, Chanso. Yeah.
When he was like the most obvious lone speed in the world. And then Rosario sends the 6 who ends up actually wiring. I just can't trust Irad to do the right thing on a speed horse, pretty much, especially on the turf. So that was frustrating. So maybe I'm a little bitter, but I'm not using Hot Brown in large part because of that. I ended up, I know I mentioned the 5 Dyna Drive. I'm sticking with him at the price. Again, he may be a little better, a little longer. And he is facing better horses here, but according to most figures I'm looking at, he's right there, and he's going to be 10 times the price as some of these others. So I'm using Dyna Drive. I am using the other Chad as well, who I think needs to improve, but it at least seems like one who is improving as opposed to a horse like Public Sector who maybe kind of plateaued and is also losing the services of both the Ortiz brothers who have ridden him in his last 6 or 7 starts. So I'll take a shot with the other Chad, and then I ended up throwing in the horse Mark talked about, Duke of Hazard. I didn't like the horse on Thursday, but I kind of took a better look at that.
I'm just trying to get it so we can.
Thought it might be usable here. Has the best last stop thoroughgraph in the field, and it really isn't a need to lead type, even though he hasn't passed any horses in America. In all of his European races, he was more of a mid-pack runner. So I do think he can pass horses, and I think maybe getting Jose Ortiz that might make the difference.
Was that an I was right? Really? Wow.
Duke of Hazard, you may be right. We'll see.
No, I do like Duke of Hazard a fair bit in there. The one horse we haven't talked about, or that Caleb hasn't talked about, that is also going to be on my ticket would be the 6 in here. I realize this is, again, out of the Brad Cox barn. This is a horse that happens to be 3 for 9 lifetime on the turf, 1 of 5 at the distance. It's TD Dance, by the way. Saya seems fit to ride here for some trainer that I've never heard of.
How have you never heard of Jason Barkley?
No, I don't.
He's a big Oaklawn, like Churchill kind of guy.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll explain why the 2 tracks I don't play. I think it's interesting that this horse lands here. Obviously, Barkley doesn't have a big stable up here. He's not a guy that I know from most of the circuits that I follow. Thought it was really interesting that Saya seems to fit for this horse, who does have some success at both this distance and on turf. And if you have that, if you have that take that the 2 favorites are vulnerable, this is another horse you're going to get a huge price on that I think kind of fits here. You've got to squint a little, but it does kind of fit.
Man, Mark is just blindly betting jockeys even more than usual today.
I know I am. Some days I do that.
FYI, I blindly bet jockeys at Del Mar and lost $250 last night. So I think I learned my lesson there.
Mark is the best at blindly betting jockeys at Del Mar that I've ever seen.
I get lucky occasionally. No, I mean, it's just one of those situations where, when you're seeing arguably top tier jockeys getting up on horses and you're like, why are they there? Sometimes, again, a lot of time you're wrong, but occasionally you'll get a 15-1 home that will really spice up a pick 5. And I think if you're using some structure in here, and again, I'd already said when we started this, race 4 and race 5 are the 2 hardest races for me, and I wanted the most coverage in those 2 races. So I'm okay being a little deeper in this race and being skinnier elsewhere in the sequence.
I'm currently trying to. Caleb basically talked about the 2 horses I'm going to use. Dyna Drive was my top pick in this race on Thursday. I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to take this Morley horse coming off the pace. Maybe distance is going to be a problem. Maybe this is too sharp, but I will take a shot with the price. I'm going to also use the 7, Shifting Sands. I'd originally just kind of marked it question mark, didn't know what I was going to do with it. But I think, I would hate to get boomed by the other Chad, and I think that this horse does fit. This horse, I think Caleb, pointed out, this horse is improving, unlike a horse like Public Sector, who seems to have kind of reached his peak. It's kind of flattened out. I 100% agree with you, Caleb, on not trusting Irad on something like a Hot Brown, and I think the fact that Jose doesn't get aboard says something. Jose's ridden this horse very well a couple of times, winning the dinner party on this horse, and giving some really, really nice rides. That Keeneland Turf Mile, I thought he gave a really, really nice ride, took the lead at the stretch, and just came up empty. And I feel like some like a Hot Brown is a horse, at least that we've seen, is a horse that wins races that he probably should, and really nothing else. I haven't and this just I don't think that he's the best horse in the spot. So this isn't going to be a walk for him. I don't think he's going to get it easy on the front end. So Irad is just throws a monkey wrench into the whole situation. So I'm going to fade the 2 short prices. I'm going to stick with just the 5 and the 7 in this spot. I do see Matthew Bickey. He likes contrarian as always. He's got the 2, 5, 6, and 4. I don't think we've talked about the 2 Safe Conduct. Any interest here in this 2?
I didn't have the 2 anywhere, but if Bickey's on it, I'm sure he's got some outside angle there that he's chasing because he's very, very good at those finding those types of horses. I will say Asmussen just walked by and he's not wearing going to the winner's circle clothing, so you can probably fade Asmussen all day.
I did like Matthews too a little bit. I guess it's West Virginia guys maybe, but the only reason I didn't include him was more of a run style issue. It looks like he almost has to send from the inside post, and if he goes out there with Hot Brown, it's probably not a recipe for success. But his last 2 races absolutely fit on any set of figures that you look at. The horse does like Saratoga. I mean, Philip Surtees 3 for 7 with a very limited barn here at Saratoga. So the horses he's been sending here have been live. So that's the kind of horse that I may end up, if I'm getting live going into that the 4th race, I may double into with my 1 into that 2 horse just to have a little exposure to him because I do think he's going to be a big price.
Hey, Mark, I just thought about something. So what was the incident with your tablet yesterday?
Apparently the battery is dead because I left it on because I'm a moron.
So that's what happened yesterday?
Yeah.
So why was Brian saying it was a SWAS incident?
I don't know. I said my tablet died, and then everybody, was trying to come up with a reason that my tablet died, and really it was just I forgot to charge it, apparently.
Gotcha. Like, I think it was also the way you said it, because you're like, I think I killed my tablet.
Well, the thing was, I thought I charged it the last time I got home. I plugged it into the wall, whatever. I assumed it was turned off, and then I did unplug it at one point to charge other things, but I assumed I had turned it off, and then it wouldn't turn on, and I was like, why won't this turn on? I guess I killed my tablet, and apparently it didn't.
That's much less fun than I was hoping.
Yeah, I know it is much less fun. Much less fun. I mean, I think everybody's going for, my ass sweat killed it or something, so I think that's where we officially landed. But I'm sitting here looking at Dark's picks. That's why I keep leaning over, so.
Oh.
10K to 4 different horses on the race where the 7 closed from that 5 for 1.
You can probably hear him in the background, actually.
You can hear him in the background.
Yeah.
So close.
He's Dark is a little camera shy though, so.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I kind of have a feeling that that Dark's going to be all over. Was it in race 2? He's going to be all over the 4.
He's only got 7 through 12 up right now.
Because he's not
big
playing
fan. Early.
He's a big fan of the Poly Pop.
Okay.
What's
now
up?
He's saying, now
there
he
is. Hey, Dark, you like? Ask him if he likes the 4. Ask him if he likes the 4 in race 2.
You like the 4 in race 2?
I don't like the early at all. If you're playing the early, good luck skipping the early. Which by skipping, I mean I'm playing it light. Which by playing it light, I mean I'm going to play the early.
That was the most Caleb comment ever. I hate this sequence. I'm only playing it.
That's what I had. It's just made me play
let me see if actually I can kind of show.
Like race 2?
Let me see if I can pull up. Stop this, and then Microsoft Edge tab. How's that look? Can you guys see that? Does that work? Yeah. Okay. No, but Bitwarden for some reason trying to save this password for me. But that's kind of how I'm playing this sequence. I'm pressing that 1 and that 4th leg, and then I'm playing a 50-cent base with the other tickets. So it's a $48 structure. Nothing fancy. I usually only play 2 tickets. So I don't know if Caleb, you playing something here, or did you just cap and decide not to?
Yeah, I'm playing something here. I'll send you a screenshot in just a second.
Yeah. And then Mark's will probably be like an entire notebook full of stuff. Oh, Mark's making the point. He's losing an argument there. Yeah. Matthew likes he came in a little late, but he likes the 1-3-4 in the first leg. So yeah, man, he's taking some prices there. Dwayne Lucas first time. Matthew, if you got a Dwayne Lucas first time starter like on top, like I cannot just express how much I just like love you right now.
It's also a Union Rags horse on turf.
Oh man, I love this. I love it though. I love it. Like just, I mean, just
there is turf on the bottom, I guess.
Yeah.
I remember you're betting Union Rags and turf, Josh. Are you feeling okay?
No, but I remember when I used to be like that. I remember when I was just like
he just did
fucking taking 8-to-1s and 20-to-1s with like reckless abandon.
You mean like yesterday?
Yeah, actually, I did yesterday, and I paid the price for it.
Let me tell you the story of a horse called American Butterfly.
Oh my god, another.
We'll make some money today, right? Yeah.
God.
Ready to go.
All right, Caleb's got a ticket here. Let's see. I got to do some.
I'll probably play something back that's a little more priced. That's kind of my base ticket.
He's taken some fun.
And what do we got? We got about 5 minutes to post here.
On turf.
10 minutes to post.
Oh, 10 minutes to post. Oh, we still.
I'm showing 10 right now. So I think it's 12:35.
Cool.
Can I ask you for this?
So I got my bets in kind of early here.
Okay.
So if you follow horse racing,
What are you playing this early, Mark, or are you sitting out?
Yeah, I'm playing it. I'm putting a ticket in literally right now. So
Okay, we'll give you time there. Is there a middle pick 5 here?
there is a middle pick 5.
What does that start? Race 5?
I think it's 5 through 9.
I feel bad. It's like.
It's got the test in it, so I don't know if I'm super excited to play that.
As much as I've said I don't really love the early because I find it difficult, which I do. It's probably still better than the middle or the late. Unless you're playing the $20 base bet, it's tough to see the middle pick 5 or the late pick 5 really paying fantastic, given at least my opinions in a lot of those races.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've been waiting for the graveyard of champions to kick in, but I don't think we've seen it.
My bankroll.
Yeah, it's been a graveyard for the bankroll, exactly.
I'll tell you what, Josh. I actually just put a structure together when I was playing with it, and I can't get it down to where I think it's playable. So I'm probably going to skip it.
Press X.
I know, right? Okay, maybe I won't quite all the way skip it, but
I don't believe you.
Or I can just play like a single by single by 2 by single by single by 2 by all by all. That makes sense, right?
I mean,
I wanted to see, because you brought the middle pick 5, Josh. I thought race 6 was probably one of the hardest races of the day. Maybe a race where you might find a price. I don't know if you looked at it yet, Josh. I assume you have, Mark. Did you like anything there?
I like the 6. I know it's a Bill Mott firster, but I kind of took the 6 based off the work pattern. The works came back pretty good last. I think the July 24th work came back as a B+. And then I assume that the work after that was just maintenance work. I forgot what the grade was, it might have even been the maintenance work. But I like that work 2 back. Worked 47 and 3. I know Bill Mott's not exactly known for first time starters, but I mean the past 2 years he's still 11%, right? Like it's not like he's 8% when he normally wins at a 15 to 16% clip. Like he's a little closer. Like it's a little bit of a negative, but you're gonna get 6-1 on the morning line. You might get a pretty decent price there. Obviously, junior's usually first call for him, so I liked Rocket Can. Into Mischief is a win early pedigree. Tappet tends to win early as well. So I don't know. I thought the 6 fit. The other 2 works horses were the 3 and the 1A. Obviously, the Gun Runner is super win early. So you could go there, but you're getting 2-1 with the joint entry. The horse with the start, the 3, I thought made a ton of sense. And Shug, once again, Shug's one of the guys not good first time out, but second time out, he's much better. So with coming in with the B+ work, I think the 3 and the 6 are probably my most favorable opinions in there. Obviously, the 1A could easily win, but it's going to be real tough. I'm assuming that entry is going to get just absolutely slammed, but I don't know. Where did you kind of see it, Caleb? Or go ahead, Mark.
I would say I ended up 135 there. I think my top choice is that 5, just as a value play. Brad Cox has been hitting it normal Brad Cox numbers up here, and Manny's his go-to jock in Naira. And you're going to give me 10-1 on that? I mean, that just seems like there's a ton of value in there. I realized works weren't, there was no workout report monster or anything like that. But, I thought there was a lot of value to be had just in that entry, given connections around it. And then beyond that, I very much agree with Josh. One of the 3 or 2 workhorses. I think the 6 was a workhorse as well, but I just couldn't quite get there. So,
yeah, I mean, the reason I ask is the only horse I really don't think could win is the 7. Anybody else, I wouldn't really give anyone a hard time over picking.
We've
Josh,
seen this before, Caleb. The one horse you can't win is a Dean Wayne Lucas horse, and what happens?
I mean, in this instance, I probably will. If I'm playing the sequence, I'm not going to use an all but one. So, I'm going to have that horse minor, but he will be on maybe like a, if I'm playing ABCs, he might be like a F. But he will be somewhere because I'm not going to use all but one. But I don't know. I liked your 6, Josh, for all the reasons you mentioned. I'm nervous about both of Mott's horses because they both look like they have some ability, but Mott's a guy, first time out, doesn't necessarily get them ready. In the pedigree, while it is win early, it's also a bit of head case, green, early runners kind of pedigree with the Tappet being in both of those bloodlines. Always makes me a little bit nervous. Junior's not a guy that I want to try to handle an immature green runner, and it seems like that horse is still maybe figuring things out. So, yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a horse, it would be the 3. I think that universally horses that, get second-time starters win more than their fair share of races, especially for a barn like Shug McGahee, who doesn't really crank them up first time out. So I'd probably go with the 3 if I had to pick one. I mean, I also respect Asmussen, who for a long time was just automatic with second-time starters. I mean, he's recently got a lot better with debut runners as well. But, yeah, I mean, there's so many, works horses, hype horses, great freshman sire pedigrees in here. I didn't really know where to go. So I was just, and then you even have the 8 horse with Castellano, who seems like he's winning everything that isn't tied down for a barn who does have success first time out of Bolt de Oro, who's a 27% freshman sire right now. So you can make a case for almost anybody. It's a tough race. I'll be spread here, as will most people, I think. But I think some of the later races in that sequence allow you to spread in this race if you need to.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. We'll see how this early goes. I haven't been seeing the ball well at Saratoga. It's been tough. And unless you're Mark, who just takes every single chalk horse, I don't know. Like yesterday was super impossible. But I don't know. I don't know. I felt like yesterday there was a lot of maybe I don't know how closely did you follow yesterday, Caleb?
I had a good day yesterday. I hit the late pick 5 and had a couple small bets come in.
You chalk eating son of a bitch.
We beat 3 favorites in that late pick 5.
Oh, was it just the early that was all chalky?
Yeah, I missed the early.
Yeah. Mr. Chalk Eater himself was trying to chime in there. What were you going to say, Mark?
I was going to say I thought both sequences, the early paid better than the late. So how are you saying the early was the chalk sequence? Early paid 3 times what the late did?
I can't really remember the early. I know the late didn't have any prices in it, but you did beat 3 favorites, but it was with all 72 to 92 kind of horses.
You can make a lot of money at Saratoga if you can string together sequences where you beat favorites, but you don't need prices. Second or third choice in 2 legs, suddenly all those people that singled around the favorite just because it was the favorite get knocked out. And they're probably not putting a ticket structure in where they're getting two mid prices, even though they're 7-2 shots. So you get outside the favorite just a little bit, and you really get paid. And I mean, I thought both sequences paid really well. That Johnny Velasquez horse in that turf marathon blew me up early. So I was in line for a very nice score. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, that one got me too, actually. And then the late sequence, I had $27 in the pick 5. I had essentially a free square, even though it was close, with Golden Pal, and basically turning into a pick 4. And I think $27. I think the pick 5 paid $280 or something. So getting 10-1 your money with a free square in there, I mean, not that bad.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, if you're playing horizontals and you're averaging 10-1, man, that's you're doing pretty well. Dave Bautista has a pretty.
Well, actually, Matthew's saying
that one with Mickey. Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know, man. There was a time where like Javi, everyone thought Javi was washed. I mean, like,
so there were Javi had some injuries. They weren't very well reported, but he did have some knee issues that were going on for a while. And, I think he's just healthy, and he's sort of taken a tack that maybe Johnny Velasquez or Mike Smith have, which is I don't need to be on a horse every single race. I'm just going to ride for good barns, and I'm going to ride when I have really interesting mounts that are to build my book. So he's riding half the number of races he used to. I think he's got a little more energy. He's riding those races better. And if you're picking and choosing a little more selectively, you're going to hit at a higher percentage. So, I think that's definitely moved him up. And Javi has always done well up at Saratoga. I think to me, his Belmont was very impressive as well. So I think maybe he's taking his book back a little bit, picking those choices, picking those horses he rides a little better, and it's just really working out for him. He is absolutely riding lights out right now. I think he's won half of the 5.5-hour-long turf sprint races this month.
It feels like it.
No, I think that's actually the statistic. I think he's actually
Really?
50% at the 5.5 furlongs on the turf. Yeah, I wasn't joking. I think that's literally the statistic.
Well, for the longest time when the rail was actually bad in turf sprints, he was like the only jockey that could ever win from that post as well.
Yeah, he was the only one that could ever win from the one post. And also, if you watch that first race yesterday, I didn't love the horse he was on, but he was the one guy that realized, they graded the rail. The rail is going to be real good in the stretch. I'll go to the rail. And he rallies up the rail, and I think that's probably the first time all meet I've seen a horse on dirt rally up the rail. So, he's riding well, he's riding smart. He's a jock that always rode smart, and he definitely had some issues going on for a bit of time there.
So I don't know, but I'm looking at Discord, and I just heard this.
You can come over here and sit down.
Oh, did
American
they?
Revolution scratched.
Well, that's not a shock at all, eh?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that on our stream, right? Like, when the WinStar Elliot Walden, was like, yeah, like, when you got LeBron James, do you really want to sound the 10th best player? But, I mean, I think it's a shame because American Revolution fits. Like, he fits in this field. I mean, I don't think he's the most likely winner because of his stablemate, but if Life is Good is not in this race, I mean, I would be interested in American Revolution. So I think it's kind of a shame that he doesn't get to run here. But I understand the connection's intent. I mean, clearly that probably speaks to their confidence in Life is Good.
All right, I need a hot rail. For my boy Hot Rod Charlie.
Do we think that changes anything in that race?
No.
Not really.
Hot Rod Charlie wins.
Do we think we change anything that actually happened?
Looks like they're moving into the gate here.
Yeah, if Life is Good didn't control his own destiny, maybe, but that's just not the case here.
Yeah, it wasn't like American Revolution was going to be a pace player, so it's
exactly.
It
so
probably doesn't change a whole hell of a lot.
I mean, if Life is Good shows up, he wins the race. If he doesn't show up, it'll be a little interesting. He still probably can bring his B game and win that race.
So the 4 came down a little bit. The 4 is now second choice at 5-2. The 7's 3-1.
Fair price on this 5 at 4-1. I would be surprised if Mark doesn't have some win money going through that.
I have win and double money going through the 5.
Yeah, that's a fair price.
I really don't like this 2. So
to me, this 2 is. I mean, I used the 2 on my pick 5 because it was pretty cheap either way. But and I recognize I have no strong opinions in here. But this 2 is a horse that if I was playing doubles or something, I definitely want to beat.
Spawn Surf hit $600,000.
Is that more than last year?
Yeah, it is. I did not buy in, by the way.
You didn't?
No, did not.
Are you going to buy into the Saratoga contest next week?
That's the plan, yeah. I think I would rather not. I mean, honestly, I joke around about Del Mar, and occasionally I could do okay there, but it's really not my strongest track. So I would rather have something that's live money that focuses on the Saratoga sequence. So I did not buy in, which...
Yeah. It feels like this year's Spawn Surf is going to come down to who's better at Del Mar, because the Saratoga card, at least today, seems very chalk heavy. And Del Mar has had monster field sizes and really some huge payoffs. So I think that's kind of going to be the determining factor.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem I had. I wasn't finding those spot plays that I normally like to target at Saratoga. So it just, discretion is a better form of valor, and I'll save my cash. So.
lot of late money on this 4. He
I
actually went
saw
down
that
to
2 to
1
1 here. Wow. 50.95. Crawling up on front.
I still don't care. This 2 sucks.
He probably does. He's not really bred to, be a 8.5 furlong horse. Not that it's out of his wheelhouse, but it's gonna sprint in the pedigree.
I said this 2 sucks.
I heard someone let him loose.
What he said. Let him loose, Kendrick. Yeah, what he said.
You're getting your full-on Saratoga experience in the background.
Who's on the outside? With the Sias horse?
Yeah, but come on, Kendrick. Finish. Come on. That 6 horse is a bet back.
There you go, Kendrick.
There we go.
3 to 1. That 6 horse was so green. If Sias can keep that horse straight in the stretch, I think he probably gets it.
I'm going to mark down that 6 horse. Can I even do that? I can't on this fucking AEW. What the hell?
And when you also figure that Rudy's in the midst of an extremely cold streak. In the last 3 years, he's 0 for 19 with only 1 runner hitting the board in debut on turf. That horse ran a lot better than it looks. I think that's a bet back too.
Once again, Aragona was right, huh?
I mean, fine with me. That's the 3rd pick on the in live odds. That horse is going to play, fair horizontally. I think
very fair, very very fair horizontally.
5 clearly didn't happen today.
Are you live? Nice.
She's like, I'm on a flight right now.
Anyways, so we missed a bunch of stuff here on chat. Dave, this is I think was the comment that you were looking at earlier from Dave Barista. Who is the most vulnerable favorite at Saratoga today? And so why don't we talk about the whole card? Like, Caleb, who's the favorite you hate the most?
I mean, on the whole card.
Yeah.
I don't have morning lines on, but I would probably have to say, this public sector count, because it'll probably be him.
Public sector is 2 to 1.
Yeah, it would be public sector for me. Because, I'm going to probably play against Madureira, but I'm not going to go out there and say she's the most vulnerable favorite on the card. That's probably a little bit, disingenuous. So public sector is probably the one I'm the most against, because I'm not against Life is Good or, Annapolis. So.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with Caleb. But I think for me, it's public sector as well. I don't necessarily want to say most vulnerable, but probably the worst favorite on the card. I just, I think there's too many other good horses in that race. Public sector doesn't really stand out above them, but will be your favorite more probably on connections and what happened, a year and a half ago than necessarily what the horse is today. So yeah, I would agree with public sector.
I'm trying to be different. So let me see. Honestly, I kind of hate this St. Tappet horse in race 8. I think he's going to be super, super overbet. And I know, Caleb, you probably said that this is going to be a single for you, I think. You really like the favorite here?
Yeah, I didn't have a great handy. This wasn't part of our initial coverage, so I kind of looked at it in more depth today, and I actually like the horse even more than I did on Thursday. I think he's your winner here.
I don't know.
Why is he here? My real question is, why is he here versus all the other spots they could have put him, where they could have gone right to a stakes with him if he's really that good?
So where's he going to go? We're not going to throw him in the Travers. It was probably a little bit too early.
Closed on that.
That's a big jump. I feel like Pletcher, this is a 3-year-old, not a 2-year-old. I feel like he is a little slower with these kinds of horses, so I think we'll see him there next time in a stakes, but I'm not too worried.
Okay.
I'm just trying to, I'm not going to say Life is Good. I know I like Hot Rod Charlie, but I'm not an idiot, right? Life is Good is super, super likely winner in that race. Maybe Annapolis? I don't know. I'm against Annapolis, but
Overseas has Nation's Pride as the favorite, which is kind of what I tend to think is a little more accurate. I don't think Annapolis goes off as your favorite.
Okay. I like Nation's Pride, so maybe that doesn't count.
You think that's European Euro bias, Caleb, or do you think that that's what American polls will reflect?
I think I think it's both. I think it's European bias, but I do think that Nation's Pride goes off the favorite, even locally. I mean, every person's talked about, I want the Europeans. They had a bad trip. I want the Euros. Give me the Euros. They were wide. But like, I just think the Belmont Derby was a slow race. There were no trips and slow races, and I think that was a bad race. So I'm not really going to want to bet that horse back at a short price.
Yes, no, I completely agree with you. If I can get 3-1 on Annapolis, I will be irresponsible probably, because I think that at 3-1 that's a ton of value, and I know that's what I was seeing in overseas pools. So,
are you going to use the Euros at all, Mark?
No, Euros are all a complete toss in that race for me.
Dude, I had the alarm and everything ready. God damn it.
Nope. Caleb and I are both playing the race, I think, the exact same way, 6/9. Want most of our money going through Annapolis and a little bit going through the 9, and I think neither one of us are using anybody else. So that's exactly how I'm going to play it. Which is shocking, because when Caleb and I agree, nothing good ever happens. Like this.
The Euros are going to run 1-2.
The Euros are going to run 1-2-3, and and the two of them are going to both like break legs out of the gate or something. Like horrible things are going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I really like the Euros in that spot, but I'm probably just Joe Q public. Yeah, I mean I hate public sector, but I was trying to be different from you guys.
Who's the most likely favorite to win?
Life is Good.
Monterey.
Yeah, I would say Life is Good, but I think it's between those two.
Oh, actually, no. Warlike Goddess. Warlike Goddess.
Okay. Warlike Goddess. Yeah, it probably is Warlike Goddess.
I had so discounted that race because it's just like we know what's going to happen, so I wasn't even thinking about it. Just Warlike Goddess is winning.
I will say in that race, I don't know if it'll actually have this horse in any of my horizontals, but if I'm going to get double digits, I may have a little win bet on the 3 Petrochord. This is a horse that I think I've been waiting for them to stretch this horse out forever. This horse is bred to run farther than the 1:16 that she's been getting. Finally gets a chance to stretch out, and has had trouble in basically the last 2 starts. The last race was a lot more trouble than the comment line really would indicate, and even 2 back. I mean, she is off a little bit slowly, and I think is just going too short. So I mean, I think Warlike Goddess is a monster. I'm not really saying she's going to lose, but I may either have a little win money on Petrochord or just like a slammed like 6-3 exacta.
Now, is it really a Saturday if we don't talk about Mountaineer and West Virginia Derby?
I'm sure Matthew Bickey's got it covered.
We the People is your 2-1 favorite. Simplification's 5-2. Homebrew, who I've literally never heard of, is 3-1. Skippy Longstocking at 5-1. King Ottoman at 6-1. And then I think JR's Gift's probably some Mountaineer horse.
Those are clearly horses.
Dude, weren't you a huge Simplification fan?
Me?
Mark?
Yeah.
That's not. Simplification sounds like a Mark horse.
Just because we're both loud New Yorkers doesn't mean we're the same person, okay, Josh?
Because they're both simple doesn't mean they like simplification.
We are both kind of basic, so that's also valid.
Oh, Homebrew is apparently a Brad Cox horse that won the Pegasus.
Didn't Simplification bleed last time out, or was that 2 starts ago? But I remember he bled in one of those races.
It looks like he bled, like looking at the running line. 2-3 wide, chased and faded.
The fact he gets Lasix here, I find a little bit interesting. If he actually, I could have swore I remember reading that, but I could be wrong.
So I almost broke my tablet before, and I almost just broke it again. So,
Nice. Yeah, We the People is going to be 2-1. I don't even know what training center it is. WSR. What's the other? The West Virginia Governors, right? That's the other big race.
Governor's Cup, yeah.
Oh boy, Mr. Wireless won the West Virginia Derby last year. Who else is in here? Folsom,
Silver Prospector. Endorsed.
God, what a freaking...
that's another horse. Yeah, that's
actually, I mean, those are not good horses, but they're certainly all about at that level to make up a decently competitive race.
Promise Keeper, right? The Pletcher horse that won the Peter Pan last year.
Oh, yeah.
He scratched? Oh.
Yeah. Mr. Wireless scratched too. Oh, that's a bummer.
Oh, no.
You tend to get this every year at Mountaineer where everyone enters in these races and then decides, we'd rather go run somewhere else, and like what looks to be a decent field usually ends up.
We'd rather go run an allowance at Saratoga than run.
Yeah, honestly, we'll go run
whatever
an allowance at Saratoga for a fifth of the purse.
Dude, I don't know, man. The local horse might be in with a shot with the scratches of those two.
Who's the local horse?
The local horse, the 6th, likable.
Josh lands on the E8.
Yep, I land on the E8.
Shocking. Shocked I am.
Yeah, Matthew Bickey with the right take. I rarely play Mountaineer. Honestly, I used to play it all the time, but I feel like now there's just a better choice of tracks running at night with Canterbury running at night now. Once Sam Houston gets going, that runs at night, but they don't run at the same time as Mountaineer. Emerald, I'd even rather play Emerald Downs than Mountaineer, even though it's all dirt. And they never run on the turf anyways at Mountaineer.
Yeah, if it's like cloudy, they're off the turf for 2 days, which is frustrating.
Do they even have any turf races today? Oh boy, special reserve, is he actually running? Didn't we just drop him, Caleb?
We did just drop him.
God damn it. Yeah. I know. Not a great card. It's fun though. I mean, I always like messing around with those big days at the small places, and then just like swearing like, why did I waste money chasing these small tracks I don't play at?
Good rebates.
That's true. Mark loves rebates.
We also have I know we're very Saratoga focused today for Whitney, but mandatory pick 6 at Del Mar. Mandatory payout today.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
Because I saw Dave post that
already.
Yeah, today was one of the 3 scheduled days. Today, Pacific Classic, and then closing day.
Son of a bee, it is.
Hey, can somebody kick Jay Davis out of chat?
What do you say? Oh, Mountaineer card greater than the Toga card.
Somebody make him a mod.
I think I can do that. Can I do that?
Never would have kept it 2 I would have kept it 2 I didn't think of that.
Add moderator. There you go. Jay Davis just got promoted on that. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you guys want to touch on before we sign off here?
Is there any races we can actually cover? I think we got them all, didn't we?
I think we basically covered every race on the card. No, I mean, it should be a good day of racing. Definitely some of these races, I think the betting proposition is not really good unless you want to slam, an ice cold, pick 3 or something. But there's definitely a bunch of these races that I'm stoked just to see the race, just to walk up and kind of pull the, I was there when. So excited for today, even if it's probably ends up being a rather chalky day.
Hey, I'm live in the pick 5. That's all I can hope for.
Was that? Yeah, we're out.
Oh, you're getting kicked out?
I'm getting kicked out.
All right. See you, Mark.
Cool. Later, guys.
All right.
See ya.
What about you, Caleb? Anything? You gonna look at that Del Mar pick 6?
Oh yeah, I'll have something in that poll for sure.
Yeah.
Del Mar's been tough. I was close yesterday. I missed 2 races on the entire card yesterday and didn't cash a ticket because it was it was like the one race within each leg of the pick 5s on an 8 race card. I mean, you get a lot of overlap too. I had a 40-1 winner in the finale, which I think killed almost everybody's tickets. First time starter. So it's been tough, so they've been paying those. So yeah, I'm excited for the pick 6. I don't know what the card looks like. I know they have the Clement Hirsch, which is, a pretty good looking race, but it doesn't seem like there's a ton of great races around it. A lot of cheaper, claimers and starter allowance horses. So would probably expect there's a good chance for a big payout again, because you tend to get some wonky results in those kind of races.
I didn't have a good time to use that, so I figured I'd make sure I'd use it before we sign off. But yeah, thank you guys for coming and hanging out. As usual, we'll be live Thursday night again. We will. I know someone had asked. I think it might have been Foxhound, but we'll be starting up the podcast again soon here. I got a couple ideas for that. I just it's just been kind of busy now doing the 2 streams, but we'll be doing Thursdays and Saturdays at least through the summer, and then yeah, we'll see where things go. But catch us at ontherwronglead.com. Obviously at wrong_lead on Twitter. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed at youtube.com/ontherwronglead. And yeah, for Mark, Caleb, I am Josh. We will catch you guys later.